So it's going to significant. What up, y'all? It's Significant back with another vlog. As you can see, I will be doing a review on the recent Telugu action film Pushpa Part 2, The Rule. Unlike how I watched the previous movies in Hoyt's theatre, I'll be going to Event Cinema's Chermside area in 4DX format. Also, here's a special movie review. In September, I got to check out a movie called Devara in Event Cinemas in Rupili in the VMAX format. And I was really excited for this movie. It had a really interesting glimpse, but it got stuck with this kind of sequel addiction which most of Indian films have nowadays. What up, y'all? I have checked out the movie, and let me be honest, I'm extremely disappointed with this one. Here's what I have to say. So, here are some positive aspects about this movie. Allu Arjun's performance is amazing. The background score composed by Sam C.S. is remarkably good. In fact, I like the background score much more than the musical score. The intermission sequence was pure mass. Like, it's really badass, especially when it comes to the hero and villain pointing guns at each other and roasting at the point where they challenge themselves. There is no fight at all. Now, here are some average aspects. When it comes to VFX, it's really middling for a 450 crore budget movie. Like, there's a big sequence involving trucks and it's completely unrealistic. The film's runtime is really long. It's on par with Animal. It's 3 hours 20 minutes. However, I didn't feel that long in my opinion because the pace went surprisingly a bit fast in the second half. Look, the Japan port fight sequence is a spectacle to watch in terms of mass and physical prowess of the titular character. But the editing literally makes me wonder, is this scene really necessary for this film? Or should it serve a purpose in the next part? Speaking of the next part, this film ended with a cliffhanger. It's really explosive. And that too, next part's title is Pushpa Part 3, The Rampage. Now here are some disappointing aspects. The action is really unrealistic. For instance, the Japan port fight sequence was entertaining in 4DX. But come on, the hero is wearing a literal lungi. He's smacking every single Japanese Yakuza dude. They're having katana swords and everything. While he only has the blunt side of his axe or hammer, whatever. The climax fight is one of the worst action scenes I've ever seen. They tie the hero up, but he bites people like every single one of those henchmen, like a zombie, and starts butchering them piece by piece. The screenplay is very unoriginal. On the day when I watched KGF 2, I was thinking whether Pushpa 2 would have the same kind of screenplay as KGF 2. Guess what? It borrowed some aspects of the movie and even took many other films such as Kantara, Kanchana, Salar, and even more. The musical score is atrocious. It's one of the worst I've heard in recent times. This year, some of the worst I heard was from Kanguva and Indian 2. Now this movie, well, I'm really surprised that I got a third one in this list. So I watched Pushpa 2 in Hindi dubbing rather than the original Telugu language because 4DX only supported Hindi dubbing, which is quite disappointing in my opinion because the dubbing was really off-put. Also, one of the worst songs I have heard this year is Peelings. Yes, that's the name of the song. It has some of the worst choreography. It's really awkward to watch. And every time, there are Malayalam lyrics mixed up as well. Just like Vetayan's first song, even the makers plan to do like this. Why does every film feel obsessed to use different kind of language in their songs? Dialogues aren't that memorable at times. Basically, the only thing I know is that you thought Pushpa was just a flower? I know, dude. Fire, right? No. Wildfire. Boom. I wish the dialogues had been put into some more effort so that it can be more memorable, just like the first part. Fahad Fasil was a weak villain in this film. Like, literally. Even though he had like a powerful introduction in the beginning, he did not have that kind of good characterization later on in the second half. It's like he had no meaning in there. Apart from the film's three key action set pieces, Jatra fight, climax fight, and the Japan port fight, it was not worth watching in 4DX at all. Like even the dance sequences weren't that kind of best at all. If I were to compare it with Jawan, which is one of the most entertaining films I watched in that format, Jawan is miles better in this way. Apparently, the film supports 3D conversion and will be releasing like next week. I don't think this film is 3D worthy at all because the visuals aren't that glorious at times. Of course, the special effects really work, but the visual effects involving like many of the explosive sequences, they aren't 3D worthy at all. If I were to compare this with Kanguva is certainly a better watch in 3D, even though it felt a bit murkier at times. Overall, I think it's a pretty pathetic sequel. I don't understand about why films this year can't replicate the successes of their predecessors. Like Indian 2 flopped with a massive budget of like 300 crores and only gained half of its budget, like 150 crore gross, while its predecessor Indian 1 grossed 50 crores in its 15 crore budget. However, I still think that Pushpa 2 would definitely be a success. Allu Arjun is the sole savior of this film. Rest of the performances were all hit and miss. They all had some opportunities and they just didn't seem bothered to take it at the place. Music is some of the worst of this year. The screenplay is unoriginal. The direction went out of place in the second half. The action was really unrealistic. The VFX work was really distracting. And the film's runtime was like being dragged too much. Like some short scenes have been dragged out too far. And the film is not worth watching in 4DX at all. In the last 4 days, every single 4DX booking everywhere in Australia has been house full, which means I am quite surprised to know the fact that this could be the highest grossing Indian film in 4DX format. If I were to rate this movie, I would say Goat and Vetain are better and Pushpa 2 is on the same level as Indian 2. So I'll be rating this movie 2 out of 5. Also take a look at this short clip.
Yo, I have a joke.
What's that, man?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Rap.
Rap who?
Rappa, rappa, rappa.
Anyways, y'all, my name is Sid. My channel name is Significant. And I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.
Hello, I'm Spider-Man. Subscribe to Significant to give respect to this poor old spooner.